The Forgotten Frontier. The harsh metallic ping of emergency systems echoed through the corridors of Outpost Horizon, a lonely human settlement perched on the razor's edge of explored space. Zara Novak's fingers danced across holographic interfaces, her eyes scanning endless streams of data that flickered like digital fireflies against the station's observation windows. Anomaly detected, she muttered, more to herself than to the empty communication hub. The station had been her home for the past 3 years, a remote monitoring point where humanity's furthest reach met the unknown vastness of unexplored space. The outpost was a testament to human persistence, a small, self-sustaining bubble of technology and determination, housing just 47 personnel who maintained critical long-range communication and scientific research. Most considered it a punishment posting, but Zara saw it differently. Here, at the very boundary of human exploration, every moment held the potential for discovery. A sudden burst of static erupted from the communication array, unlike anything she'd heard before. The signal was complex, layered with frequencies that seemed to pulse with an almost organic rhythm. Zara leaned forward, her heart racing. First contact protocols rushed through her mind, but this was different. This wasn't a carefully constructed diplomatic transmission. This was something raw, urgent. Commander Wilson, she called into the station's internal communication system. You're going to want to see this. Within minutes, the station's lead commander burst into the communication hub, his weathered face a map of decades spent pushing humanity's boundaries. Talk to me, Novak. What are we looking at? Zara's hands moved with practiced precision, isolating and analyzing the strange signal. It's not like anything in our databases. The signal structure suggests intelligent design, but it's fragmented, almost like a distress call, but not from any known species. The station fell into a tense silence. Humanity had encountered several alien civilizations in the past century, but each contact had been carefully managed, diplomatically choreographed. This felt different. Wild, unpredictable. Commander Wilson studied the readouts, his fingers tracing the intricate signal patterns. Can you clean it up? Get me something more coherent. Hours passed. Specialized algorithms worked to decode the transmission, slowly revealing fragments of information. Coordinates, warning markers, glimpses of something massive and potentially catastrophic. It's a warning, Zara finally concluded, her voice barely above a whisper, about something coming. Something that doesn't care about diplomatic protocols or peaceful first contact. The station's emergency lights began to pulse, a deep, rhythmic red that matched the urgency of the decoded transmission. They were no longer just observers. They had become the first line of defense against an unknown threat. Little did they know, this moment would mark the beginning of humanity's most challenging cosmic encounter, a test of innovation, courage, and the indomitable human spirit that had carried their species from fragile earthbound origins to the vast, uncharted territories of space. Commander Wilson's hand rested on Zara's shoulder, a gesture of both comfort and determination. Prepare a full report, he said, and get me a secure quantum link to Earth Command. Something tells me we're about to write a new chapter in human history. The outpost hummed with anticipation, a small beacon of human resilience against the infinite, mysterious darkness of space. Technological ingenuity. The research laboratory of Outpost Horizon thrummed with an electric tension. Rowan Patel stood before a holographic display, his dark eyes narrowed in concentration, hands moving through layers of quantum data like a conductor orchestrating an invisible symphony. The strange transmission from the previous week had become an obsession, a puzzle that demanded solving. It's not just a message, Rowan muttered to himself. It's a complex neural network of information. His fingers traced intricate pathways of code that seemed to shift and breathe with an almost living quality. Unlike traditional communication systems, this signal defied conventional decryption methods. Dr. Lena Fitzgerald, the outpost's chief xenotechnology specialist, approached with a steaming cup of synthetic coffee. Any progress? She asked, her voice carrying a mix of hope and skepticism. Rowan pointed to a section of the hologram where multiple signal layers intersected. See these quantum entanglement markers? They're not just communication. They're some form of adaptive intelligence. The signal learns, adapts, responds to external stimuli. The laboratory was a marvel of human innovation, a compact space filled with equipment cobbled together from various research modules. Salvaged quantum processors sat alongside custom-built decryption arrays, testament to human ingenuity's ability to create complex solutions from limited resources. A soft alarm interrupted their concentration. The station's long-range sensors had detected an approaching anomaly, a massive energy signature that didn't match any known spacecraft or natural phenomenon. Commander Wilson's voice crackled over the communication system. "Patel, we need answers. Now." Rowan's mind raced. Traditional approaches would fail against such an unknown threat. He needed something radical, a solution that could anticipate rather than simply react. "Adaptive reverse engineering," he said suddenly, turning to Dr. Fitzgerald. "We'll build a communication system that can match the signal's complexity in real time." The concept was audacious. Instead of trying to understand the alien transmission, they would create a technological mirror, a system so dynamically intelligent that it could interface, predict, and potentially communicate with the unknown threat. Over the next 72 hours, Rowan and his team worked without rest. Quantum processors were recalibrated, communication protocols were rewritten, and a new type of adaptive interface took shape. It was a technological gamble, using the unknown signal's own complexity against it. "We're essentially creating a linguistic chameleon," Rowan explained to a skeptical Commander Wilson. "A communication system that can shift its fundamental structure instantaneously, matching whatever transmission pattern it encounters." The first test was nerve-wracking. As the adaptive interface connected with the mysterious signal, the laboratory's equipment began to react unpredictably. Holographic displays flickered, quantum processors hummed with unprecedented intensity, and for a moment, it seemed like the very fabric of technological reality was bending. Then, suddenly, clarity. Fragmented images began to form, glimpses of something massive approaching. Not just a spacecraft, but something that defied conventional understanding. Geometric shapes that seemed to fold and unfold within themselves, energy signatures that pulsed with an almost organic rhythm. "It's a warning," Rowan whispered, "and an invitation." The alien transmission was revealing more than just a potential threat. It was presenting a challenge, a cosmic test of technological and intellectual capability. Humanity was being evaluated, measured against some unknown standard of cosmic intelligence. Commander Wilson studied the emerging data. "Can we respond?" he asked. Rowan's fingers danced across the interface. "We're about to find out." The outpost held its collective breath. In this moment, human innovation stood on the precipice of potentially the most significant technological breakthrough in human history. The resistance begins. The war room of Outpost Horizon had transformed from a standard tactical center to a nerve center of human survival. Elena Rodriguez stood at the holographic strategy table, her olive skin illuminated by the blue-green light of multiple projected scenarios. Behind her, a wall of communication streams and sensor data created a mosaic of potential threats and strategic options. "We're not dealing with a conventional invasion," Elena announced to the assembled team of specialists. Her voice carried the calm certainty of someone who had spent years preparing for scenarios most would consider impossible. The mysterious signal that Rowan Patel had partially decoded had revealed more than just a potential threat. It suggested a systematic evaluation of humanity's capabilities. The approaching entity wasn't simply looking to conquer. It was testing, probing, seeking to understand the limits of human resilience. "Our primary advantage is our unpredictability," Elena continued, manipulating holographic projections that showed potential defensive strategies. "Traditional military doctrine won't work here. We need to be fluid, adaptive, unconventional." The team consisted of a diverse group of specialists: quantum physicists, communication experts, tactical strategists, and improvisation engineers. Each brought a unique perspective to the challenge of defending humanity against an unknown threat. Dr. Marcus Wong, a specialist in xenobiology, highlighted a critical observation. The signal suggests a collective intelligence that values strategic complexity. They're not looking for simple military confrontation. They're looking for a comprehensive test of our species' potential. Elena nodded. Her strategy began to take shape, a multi-layered approach that would challenge the approaching entity's expectations. They would use humanity's greatest strengths: creativity, adaptability, and an almost irrational determination to survive. "We'll create multiple response layers," she explained, each seemingly independent, but actually part of a larger, interconnected strategy. "We'll make our resistance a living, breathing system that can reconfigure itself instantaneously." The first phase involved creating decentralized communication networks. Traditional military communication could be compromised, so they developed a system inspired by biological neural networks, communication paths that could spontaneously reroute, self-heal, and maintain integrity even if multiple nodes were compromised. Rohan Patel's adaptive communication interface played a crucial role. By integrating his quantum communication technology, they could create communication channels that were virtually impossible to predict or interrupt. "We're turning our entire communication infrastructure into a living organism," Rohan explained, showing how the network could dynamically shift its operational parameters. The strategy went beyond mere defense. Elena was preparing a form of technological and psychological warfare that would challenge the approaching entity's fundamental understanding of human capabilities. Tactical drones were modified to display complex behavioral patterns, sometimes acting individually, sometimes forming collective intelligence that mimicked swarm behavior. Each drone became more than a weapon. It was a statement of human innovation. "We're not just defending," Elena told her team. "We're demonstrating. We're showing them that humanity is more than a simple species to be cataloged or conquered." As the first long-range sensors began to detect the approaching entity, the tension in the outpost became palpable. They were no longer just a research station. They had become humanity's first line of defense, a beacon of hope and resistance against an unknown cosmic challenge. Commander Wilson approached Elena, his weathered face a mixture of concern and pride. "Are we ready?" he asked. Elena's response was a confident smile. "We're more than ready. We're humanity." The resistance was about to begin, and with it, a test that would define not just their survival, but the very essence of human potential. Quantum breakthrough. The laboratory hummed with an electric anticipation that bordered on desperation. Kai Nakamura stood before a complex array of quantum processors, his hands trembling slightly as he made microscopic adjustments to equipment that represented humanity's most advanced technological frontier. Days of continuous research had pushed the team to their absolute limits. The approaching entity was now close enough to be more than a theoretical threat. It was a looming presence that seemed to warp the very fabric of space around Outpost Horizon. "Quantum entanglement isn't just a communication method," Kai muttered, reviewing layers of complex mathematical models that danced across holographic displays. "It's a fundamental language of the universe." His breakthrough had begun as a wild theory, that consciousness itself could be a form of quantum communication. The mysterious alien signal they had been studying wasn't just a message. It was a form of distributed intelligence that existed beyond traditional understanding of communication. Dr. Aria Valdez, a quantum physicist specializing in interdimensional theory, watched Kai's work with a mixture of skepticism and growing excitement. "You're suggesting we can create a quantum resonance field that can communicate across dimensional boundaries?" she asked. Kai nodded, his eyes never leaving the intricate calculations. "Not just communicate. Negotiate, interact, potentially even negotiate terms of engagement." The device taking shape was unlike anything humanity had ever created. It wasn't a weapon, nor was it purely a communication device. It was a quantum interface that could potentially translate the fundamental language of consciousness itself. "The entity is testing us," Kai explained to the assembled team. But testing implies a form of communication. We've been approaching this all wrong. We've been trying to defend or resist, when we should be attempting to understand. The quantum interface was a delicate construction of superconducting materials, quantum processors, and experimental energy matrices that seemed to bend the very laws of physics. Each component had been carefully designed to resonate at frequencies that could potentially bridge the gap between human perception and the alien intelligence. As the final calibrations were made, the laboratory's equipment began to react in increasingly strange ways. Holographic displays flickered with impossible geometric patterns. Quantum processors began to generate calculations that seemed to exist simultaneously in multiple states. Quantum communication is about potential, Kai said, his voice taking on an almost philosophical tone. It's not about sending a message. It's about creating a moment of mutual understanding. The approaching entity was now close enough that long-range sensors could capture its full complexity. It wasn't a traditional spacecraft. It was more like a living mathematical construct, a being that existed somewhere between energy and consciousness. Initiating quantum resonance, Kai announced, his finger hovering over the final activation sequence. The moment the interface activated, reality itself seemed to shift. The laboratory's walls appeared to become translucent, revealing layers of reality that existed beyond normal human perception. Mathematical equations began to flow like living entities, creating bridges between human understanding and something far more complex. For a brief moment, everyone in the laboratory experienced something unprecedented, a simultaneous understanding that transcended language, technology, and individual consciousness. The quantum breakthrough was more than a technological achievement. It was a moment of cosmic communication, a bridge between humanity's limited understanding and a form of intelligence that existed beyond traditional comprehension. Commander Wilson watched from the observation window, understanding that whatever happened next would define humanity's place in the universe. "We're ready," Kai whispered, not to anyone in the room, but to the universe itself. Cosmic reckoning. The universe held its breath. What began as a potential invasion had transformed into something far more profound. The quantum interface created by Kai Nakamura had done more than establish communication. It had opened a window into a fundamental dialogue that transcended traditional concepts of conflict and understanding. The combined efforts of Zara Novak's communication expertise, Rohan Patel's technological innovation, Alina Rodriguez's strategic thinking, and Kai Nakamura's quantum breakthrough converged in a moment of collective human potential. The alien entity, a consciousness that had traveled across unimaginable distances, was not seeking conquest. It was seeking comprehension. Humanity had become an unexpected variable in a cosmic equation of intelligence and evolution. Through the quantum interface, complex patterns of communication began to emerge. It wasn't language as humans understood it, but a pure exchange of conceptual information. The entity revealed itself as a collective intelligence that periodically sought out emerging civilizations, testing their capacity for adaptive thinking and collective innovation. "We're being evaluated," Kai explained to the stunned crew of Outpost Horizon. Not as a potential threat, but as a potential partner in cosmic understanding. The communication revealed centuries of galactic observation. Humanity's seemingly chaotic nature, its ability to innovate under pressure, to adapt rapidly, to find creative solutions to impossible problems, had captured the entity's attention. Alina Rodriguez understood first. This wasn't an invasion. It was an invitation. The quantum interface began to stabilize, creating a bridge of understanding that went beyond traditional communication. Fragments of cosmic knowledge began to flow, glimpses of technologies, scientific principles, and evolutionary pathways the human minds could barely comprehend. Zara Novak managed the communication streams, her fingers dancing across interfaces that seemed to breathe with living intelligence. Rohan Patel's adaptive communication systems prevented any potential misunderstandings, creating real-time translation matrices that captured the nuanced complexity of the exchange. As the communication deepened, the true nature of the encounter became clear. The entity was part of a larger cosmic network, a collective of intelligences that periodically sought out emerging civilizations with potential for extraordinary development. Humanity was being offered something unprecedented, not conquest, not subjugation, but participation. We're not just being tested, Commander Wilson realized, watching the extraordinary exchange. We're being considered. The final moments of the encounter were a symphony of quantum potential. The outpost systems integrated with the alien intelligence, creating a momentary fusion of human and cosmic consciousness. In that instant, everyone experienced a profound understanding, a glimpse of humanity's potential that extended far beyond their current technological and philosophical limitations. As quickly as it had begun, the encounter concluded. The alien entity began to withdraw, leaving behind encrypted data packages, technological seeds that hinted at discoveries humanity could unlock over the coming centuries. Outpost Horizon stood as a testament to human resilience, creativity, and unexpected potential. What had begun as a potential threat had transformed into humanity's first true cosmic dialogue. Kai Nakamura looked at his team, a sense of profound wonder filling the laboratory. "We're not alone," he said simply, "and we're far more extraordinary than we ever imagined." The universe, it seemed, had just begun to understand humanity.